full-frame anamorphic, smaller than a phone, for less than $1,000. Take my money! First, a super fast recap. Anamorphic lenses distort the image to be wider. This is why they're so popular in Hollywood, because when you think about it, all the blockbusters are super wide anyways. They also create those cool light streaks, so it's not like you can just crop a regular lens to get the effect. There are a few standard squeeze ratios, and the Saturn is 1.6. This gives you a 2:8:1 ratio on a Sony FX3 16:9 sensor, or 2.4:1 on a standard 3:2 full-frame sensor. SIRUI already has an anamorphic line, the Venus, and just like the Venuses, those lenses are T2.9 to T16. If you want a more detailed explanation on anamorphic lenses, we left a link to a review of the SIRUI 150mm anamorphic lens in the description below. Back to the Saturns. We have tested our fair share of Cine lenses here on DIYP, and this is the first time we have seen a full-frame anamorphic that is light enough to fit on a drone.
Take off.
They're surprisingly small but still feel amazingly built, and they are made from carbon fiber. I don't think I've ever seen a carbon fiber lens before.
I've solved all our problems.
If you look at SIRUI's Venice anamorphic set, these new Saturns feel very familiar on the optics side. But, and this is a big but, the entire set is smaller in every aspect. They are shorter, thinner, and even the filter threads shrunk down. But most of all, they are lighter. If the Venus line is at about 1 kilo a lens, the Saturns are less than half of that. This is pretty amazing because if you look at the glass, it looks very similar. Look at the 35s, it almost feels like they took the same optical design and played shrink with it. To be honest, SIRUI did not share if this is the case, but it certainly feels like it. Maybe sans the front element and a slightly longer minimal focus distance. But what else has changed? Well, the focus throw got an overhaul. Now all lenses are 120 degrees. This may seem like a small difference, but if you're pulling focus, it's extra 30% of focus accuracy. Sadly, the minimal focus distance is a bit far even with the Venus line, and it's even further away with the Saturns. Besides that, all the lens caps are now flat. All this weight shrinking effort really pays off for gimbal work. Not only the Saturns are easier to balance, but you can actually use smaller gimbals. Your back will thank you for taking all that load off. Back to the optics. I can't help but think that what we're getting here are the awesome SIRUI anamorphic lenses, but in a better package. And this means we're getting the same familiar look as the Venuses. And the lens is surprisingly sharp. I mean, most lenses today are sharp enough. Probably every single lens produced after the year 2000 will pass for at least decent sharpness. But this is not a spherical lens where sharpness is guaranteed. This is an anamorphic, where the image is distorted by design. Still, I was very pleasantly surprised with how sharp this set is. They aren't as sharp as some of the recent G Masters, but they are definitely sharp enough to earn this title. But you don't get anamorphics because they are sharp. You get them for the cinematic look. I mean, look at this frame. It is 35mm on the vertical and 22mm on the horizontal. It's a great look. But also, there are bokeh and flare. The bokeh is great, smooth and nice on the entire set. It's not as deep as what you would get on a spherical 1.2 lens. Those are the Nightwalkers. But if I had to choose between smooth bokeh and character, I'd go for character every single time. And as an anamorphic, a lot of the character come from flares. The 35, 50 and 75mm all have gorgeous streaks. If you've never tried it, try pointing the lens directly into a light. You'll get beautiful cinematic flares. We got the blue version, which, as the name suggests, create blue flares from white lights, and kinda keeps the color of non-white lights. If you prefer, SIRUI also offers natural flare options, which is easier to warm up. As far as optical distortions go, beside the obvious squeeze, there is not a lot we noticed. All of the lenses behave well against chromatic aberration, and when you look at the corners of the image, you only get very light vignetting, even when wide open. If you're a stickler for bokeh, you'll notice some cat's eyes in the sides of the frame, especially when wide open, and these lenses do seem to suffer from some ghosting. But hey, J.J. Abrams not only has ghosting all over the place, this is actually his signature look. So yeah, I wouldn't care too much about ghosting and cat's eyes. This is more of a stylistic choice than a real issue. Actually, let us know in the comments if you're a fan of excessive flares and ghosting. SIRUI currently has 3 lenses in the Saturn line, 35, 50 and 75mm. It's a nice set and it features the properties of any Cine set. The aperture is declicked and there are 2 standard gears, one for focus and one for aperture. As a set, all 3 lenses are very similar. The size is close, the weight is close, the gears are in the same spot, and they are all 62mm thread. Well, the 50 is actually 58mm, but you can fix this with a step-up ring and pretend it's 62 like the others. Now, the only question left is this. Is this set complete enough for you? Right now, the set only has 3 lenses, 35, 50 and 75. While I liked each and every one of them, I am missing a longer lens. SIRUI has a 100, 135 and even an impressive 150mm on the beefier Venus line. There are also 1.6 Anamorphics and I sure do hope we'll get their equivalents on the Saturn line soon. For now, you're good up to 75. Similarly, I sometimes wish I had one wider lens as well. Here's the thing though, on the 35 you get 35mm vertical focal length, but on the horizontal, it's more like 22mm. Now, 22mm on full frame is decently wide, but if you could only have one more step wider, I'd be the happiest person alive. Sadly, going wider on an anamorphic is way harder than going longer, so I really hope we'll see something soon, but we'll see. Wrapping up here. The SIRUI Saturn set is a dream come true. The 3 lenses in the line are groundbreaking in size and weight. They are fast, light and small with 0 compromises in build quality or optics. The fact that they are selling them for less than $1,000 a lens is a wonder to me. My only wish is to see the line expand with the same lenses as the Venus line. But even now, it's a trio you can't afford to ignore. I'm Oditirosh with DIYPhotography.net and I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you're considering getting any one of those lenses, and in the meantime, hit the like button, the share button, the suggest, hit all the buttons on the screen, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.